Hey guys, we're here live in Union Square, New York City, where someone has erected a very strange statue of Donald Trump in the nude. It's been here for a couple hours. The title's there on the bottom if you want to take a look. No one seems to have taken it down yet. There's no police presence or anything. We got our first report of this being here at around 8:30, so it's been here for a while. I can see our camerawoman Chaco's getting a nice shot there at first. A crowd's gathered around to check it out. A lot of people have gathered here. Actually, a pretty small crowd considering, like, if you've never been to New York, Union Square is obviously, like, it's a big thing. It's a huge public area where there's lots of subway stations. There's a subway station that has, I think, 8 trains that go to it. But not that big of a crowd has gathered. We're going to look around and see if we can figure out who the artist is. I think it's this dude over here sitting with a notebook just kind of hanging out. But I'm not confident enough to ask him if that's him. So the statue is obviously Trump in the nude with a genitalia that is presumably to scale. We don't know for sure. Donald Trump has made claims to the contrary, but he lies about a lot. Maybe he was being sarcastic, like he was being when he said that President Obama was the founder of ISIS. I really like the vein detail on it. The vein detail, I think, adds a lot. It's very detailed. I'm not sure what it's made out of. I'm thinking it's like a rubbery polymer. On his hand, you can see he has a ring. That's the Freemasons logo. The Freemasons are a kind of just a club for old men to hang out in, but they've got a lot surrounding them with regards to the idea that they are a secret society like the Illuminati or something that secretly runs everything. If you've seen that Simpsons episode about the stonecutters, they're based on the Freemasons. I am not sure if Trump is actually a member of the Freemasons, but that ring is showing their logo. And that's just an interesting bit of symbolism. So Donald Trump has a lot been criticized for how he is kind of... He's not a very confident man, no matter how he speaks. One of his ex-wives was quoted as saying that before they made love, he would never take off his clothes in front of her. He would make her go in the bathroom, take off all his clothes, get under the sheets, and then she would come to bed. That's an uncorroborated report that I believe it was Marla Maples, his second wife, said about him. So this statue may be more realistic than you think. Except I'm not sure if that's his natural hair color, and if that's not his natural hair color, that wouldn't be the correct color down there either, unless he dyes everything. And also, there's the old myth that a man who has small hands, something else might be small. Donald Trump's refuted that, but this statue seems to justify that claim. I'm keeping an eye out for who might be the artist here. This guy just took a picture of us. Let's see. No, I don't think that's him. No one here seems to be responsible for this. Like, if I made this, I'd be wanting to like stand around being like, oh, cool, now this is covering my art. But no one seems to be like responsible for this or watching over it. It's just here. I'm scared to touch it because I'm worried it's slimy. But so we don't know how heavy it is. But someone got it here. There's no sign of any hand truck or anything. There's a dude over there who works for clearly works for making sure this park is beautiful, and he's leaving it because it's art. It's art. It's okay, guys. It's freedom of expression. First Amendment, which Trump doesn't support, but whatever. But again, a large crowd has gathered. People are taking pictures of it, putting their arms around him and stuff. Should we see if he has anything to say? Let's see here. A real crowd has gathered, and everyone seems to be fascinated about it. People are like walking down the street, and then they run over to take a look at it. Absolutely. Who's that? Anyone? We're gonna see if any people in the crowd here seem to have any thoughts. If you look over there, that's like what real art in Union Square looks like. Like, that's been there for a while, that beautiful statue of 2 heads. But this is nuevo art. This is the new world. Excuse me, sir. We're with NowThis. We're just doing a piece on this statue. Do you have any commentary on it?
No. That is crazy, though.
You did?
No.
No, okay. A lot of the bystanders are not willing to say much because this is absolutely revolting. But it's supposed to be revolting. That's the point. It's supposed to be revolting.
What video you're working
Right now we're doing a piece about how one of the accused perpetrators of the Bosnian genocide just endorsed Mr. Trump. Maybe we can try to get a comment from Mr. Trump on what he thinks about that when he's done taking a photo with this gentleman over here. There's a lot of people crowding around him. Let's see here. Excuse me, Mr. Trump, what do you have to say about one of the perpetrators of the Bosnian genocide endorsing you today? I think that's a no comment. He looks angry. Donald Trump has never been very friendly with the press. He banned the Washington Post from all of his events. He banned BuzzFeed from all of his events. He's working on banning the New York Times from all of his events. He is not a fan of the press. He has said in the past that he wants to be able to open up libel law so that it's easier to sue the press for when they say mean things about you or mean things about him, which is what he's most concerned with. Did we get a good shot of the rear end yet? Because I think the rear end is also very impressive. If you'll notice, there is no mass to the buttocks. The buttocks are completely flat. There's nothing there. There's no butt, which I think is a very important commentary on the state of politics today. And it's just red and moldering, I think is the right word. Moldering. Donald Trump is about 6'4", 6'5". The hands are definitely bigger than life-sized. Yeah, I think that's... I don't know, I'm like 5'8", and he's on a pedestal. So that's probably about right. Right? I'm not good at it. Actually, no, I think it's a little smaller than real life. But yeah, a pretty big crowd has been congregating around this. It really is drawing a lot of attention. New Yorkers do not like Donald Trump. It's expected that New York State, Hillary Clinton's going to win by a landslide. Trump did win the Republican primary. Oh, okay. The inscription down here on the placard says, "The Emperor has no balls." That's obviously a reference to "The Emperor Has No Clothes," the famous folktale about an emperor who he believes he's wearing clothes that some dudes made for him, but he's actually naked. It's a whole thing. Go Google Grimm's fairy tales. You'll find it. A man just walking by me just turned to me and said, "You won't be laughing in November." Because, as was evidenced on CNN last night, a lot of Trump supporters are ignoring the polls and still truly believe he's going to win. Even if he does win, he will not be winning the state of New York. That's pretty much an impossibility according to every single poll. No worries. A lot of people aren't really willing to talk because they're just, coming to check out the statue. Let's do it. There's a lot of photographers here. I think you're going to be seeing some shots of this on with the Associated Press tomorrow. This is the kind of thing that's really going to blow up. And again, this is in a major area of New York City. I hate to sound like I'm explaining something basic, but Union Square is a major place, that congregation place, that people come and gather. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time here. It's because it's a way to get from one place to another. This is in a very major locale. Again, there's no police presence yet. No one's come to try to get rid of this. As far as I can tell, the artist isn't around. No one here is standing around proudly looking at their artwork. Again, I don't want to out this guy who's just doing his job, but this guy over here is just ignoring it, even though he works for the organization for beautification of this. And one could say he's doing his job because this is making the park a better place to come hang out with your friends. A lot of the focus is on the genitalia, and you could say that talking about the size of a political candidate's genitalia is lessening the political conversation, but something you have to remember is that he's the one that brought it up. It's not funny that he has a small penis. It's funny that he cares so much that people think he has a small penis. We're talking about the fact that his character says that he was willing to say on the national debate stage that he doesn't have a small penis. We're not making fun of him for having a small penis. We're making fun of him for being insecure and unconfident and having a lot of major personality flaws. That's what the real criticism is here, folks. The skin tone is also really on point. I'm very impressed by this artwork, no matter who made it. We're also getting some regular high def footage of this, so you'll be able to watch a produced video on this later, share it to your friends, let your friends see. We're going to get back to the office. It's only a couple blocks from here. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're sorry you had to see this, but we had to see it too, and so does a lot of New York. Enjoy the rest of your day.